Welcome back to the deep dive. Our mission here is to take that whole stack of source material, the reviews, the specs, all the deep research, and just hand you the things that truly matter.
Absolutely.
And today we are strapping in for a deep dive into the world of entry-level mirrorless cameras.
Which is, it's arguably the most competitive photography segment out there right now.
It really is. Specifically, we're dissecting two contenders from the same family, Canon.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the newer, slightly sleeker Canon EOS R50, which hit the market in February 2023.
And then its slightly older, but still very, very relevant sibling, the Canon EOS R10.
Which arrived just 9 months earlier.
And that 9-month gap is actually critical here. It means we're looking at two cameras that are essentially competing for the same person.
The same first-time mirrorless buyer.
Exactly. Or anyone making that long-awaited leap from, a decade-old DSLR.
Right.
So our mission is to break down that, a $300 price difference?
Yeah.
And figure out exactly what one camera offers that the other doesn't, so you can stop scrolling through spec sheets and just make the right choice for your creative tools.
And they both leverage that fantastic Canon R APS-C system, which means you're buying into a serious modern ecosystem.
Now, the question isn't which one is good.
No, they're both good. It's figuring out which one aligns perfectly with your personal shooting style and, crucially, your wallet.
Well said.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the biggest surprise, what they actually share.
This is the part that I think will shock a lot of people.
For you, the listener, this is probably the first and most important nugget. The core imaging foundation of both of these cameras is, it's virtually identical.
It is.
They both use a high-quality 24-megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor.
And when we say identical, we really do mean identical. They share the same beating heart.
Yeah.
The size difference is, a tenth of a millimeter here or there. It's negligible. The crucial point is they function in exactly the same way.
And they house the same image processor.
Which means they also share the exact same native ISO range, running from 100 all the way up to 32,000.
So the takeaway is just crystal clear. You are not sacrificing image quality or dynamic range or Canon's famous color science by picking the cheaper R50.
Not at all. If you take a picture with the R50 and the R10 under the same conditions, the file you get, the resolution, the depth, the color, it's going to be fundamentally the same.
That's the core guarantee Canon is giving you here.
Yeah, they've anchored their entry point with this really high-performing sensor. Now, a quick technical note, just so you know what you're not getting with either of them.
Go on.
Neither camera has in-body image stabilization or IBIS.
Which is pretty standard for entry-level mirrorless.
It is. So for you, this means your stabilization for stills comes directly from the lens itself, the optical stabilization.
Or if you're shooting video, you're using the digital stabilization in the camera menus.
Right. So it's a shared limitation, not a differentiator in this comparison.
Okay, now let's talk about how you actually interact with these bodies. They both include a 3-inch fully articulated LCD screen.
Which is so crucial for content creators, vloggers, or really anyone who wants to shoot from high or low angles.
Without lying on the ground.
Exactly. And they also both share a 2360K dot electronic viewfinder.
Strong feature set for sure, but here is where things get genuinely confusing if you're just looking at specs on a website.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
I had to triple check this in the source material. The newer, cheaper R50 actually has the higher resolution LCD screen.
It's wild, isn't it?
The R50 is sporting 1.620K dots, while the R10 is only at 1.040K dots.
It's a very strange choice by Canon. You have to ask, why would they put a better screen on the cheaper model?
I think you have the answer.
Well, it signals that the R50 is being targeted slightly more toward that modern content creator.
The person who spends more time looking at the screen.
Yeah, for framing, for playback, more than they do looking through a traditional electronic viewfinder.
It certainly makes the immediate value proposition of the R50 look even stronger, especially when we get to the price tag.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's zoom out and look at the financial reality here. The Canon R50 enters the market with a suggested retail price of $679.
Which is just an incredible entry point.
It really is.
Yeah.
But the R10 is pushing close to that 4-figure barrier for the body alone.
It's $979.
So that's a $300 premium. For a budget-conscious buyer, that is a huge leap.
A huge leap. Let's put it in context. It's a 44% premium for the R10.
So if affordability, without sacrificing that core image quality as your #1 goal, the R50 immediately just looks like exceptional value.
No question.
Now, we have to spend the rest of this deep dive figuring out what on earth the R10 is doing to justify an extra $300.
Right, because based on the sensor and the screen, right now it feels like a downgrade.
It does. It does.
It feels like a downgrade until you realize where the R10 really earns its keep. The justification comes down to two major themes: physical design, how it feels in your hand, and, more importantly, outright performance speed and endurance.
Let's start with design, because this is where the R50 wins the portability battle, hands down.
It's significantly more compact.
It's about 51 grams lighter than the R10, which, it means less weight dragging down your neck or shoulder over a long day of travel.
But I think the most important physical difference is that slimming effect. The R50 is a noticeable 14 millimeters thinner than the R10.
That may not sound like a lot on paper.
No, but when you're talking about fitting a camera into a messenger bag or a small backpack, that depth is the difference between it sitting neatly or creating that awkward camera bulge.
That really dictates who the camera's for, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The R50's super slim profile makes it the ultimate casual shooter.
The travel companion.
The discreet camera you don't mind carrying everywhere.
Whereas the R10, while it's still compact by traditional standards, it's thicker. And that extra thickness gives it a more substantial, deeper grip. If you have larger hands or if you plan on putting a heavier lens on the front,
the R10 is going to feel more stable.
Much more stable and secure.
Yeah.
It's the difference between prioritizing absolute portability with the R50 or preferring a more traditional, robust feel with the R10.
Okay, before we jump to performance, let's just acknowledge one massive shared strength: the autofocus.
Oh, yeah. They both absolutely excel here.
They use 651 focus points and Canon's highly advanced tracking tech, including face and eye detection autofocus.
This is professional-level technology that has trickled down to the entry-level price point.
Yeah.
Our sources scored them identically for portrait photography.
So the message here is, stop worrying about whether the camera will find and hold focus on your subject.
Yeah, you can just start concentrating on composition. AF performance is it's a non-issue in this comparison.
So if the sensor is identical and the AF is identical and the R50 has a better screen and is cheaper, where does that $300 premium start to make any sense?
It all comes down to action, plain and simple.
If
If you shoot anything that moves, fast sports, wildlife, active pets, your kids, the R10 is built to handle it. The R50 is competent, but it just can't keep up.
So this is the R10's major justification.
This is it. Look at the continuous shooting speed. Using the electronic shutter, the R10 delivers a blistering 23 frames per second.
23.
The R50 is quick, don't get me wrong, but it tops out at 15 frames per second.
That's a huge difference.
That extra 8 frames every second can be the difference between catching the peak action and missing it entirely.
And it's not just the frames per second, it's the sheer speed of the shutter itself.
Right. The R10's electronic shutter is capable of 116,000th of a second.
Which is double the speed of the R50's maximum of 18,000th.
Let's put that in a real-world scenario for you. Imagine you bought a beautiful fast crime lens, like an f1.4,
Okay.
and you're shooting a kid's soccer game at high noon in bright sunlight. To get that beautiful blurred background, the bokeh, you need to shoot wide open at f1.4.
But the light is just overwhelming.
Exactly. Without that insane shutter speed of 116,000th of a second, your photos would be completely overexposed. Just a sheet of white. The R10 gives you the raw speed you need to prevent that very specific, very frustrating scenario.
And for those really unpredictable moments, the R10 has one more crucial action feature.
The pre-shooting buffer.
This is a game changer.
It is, especially for new action photographers.
Yeah.
Think about your smartphone. You always feel like you hit the shutter just after the moment happens.
Always.
The R10's pre-shooting buffer actually captures and buffers images before you fully press the shutter button down.
So it's like having a small time machine built into your camera.
It really is. It gives you an undeniable edge in capturing truly unpredictable split-second action. And that feature alone is worth a significant chunk of that $300 premium for certain users.
Okay, let's pivot away from stills for a second and talk video, battery, and those unique niche features that I think really define the R50's modern appeal.
Sure.
Both are very capable video cameras. They both support unlimited video recording at 4K UHD resolution.
And they both have built-in microphone ports.
Which is essential if you plan to get serious about audio quality.
Right. And the R10, Well, it retains its speed advantage in video, too. It offers high-speed recording to 120 frames per second.
And that's necessary if you want flexible options for that smooth, high-quality, slow-motion footage.
Exactly.
But, and this is a big but, the R50, being the newer camera, introduces a key software advantage that speaks directly to video creators.
Lens breathing correction.
Yes. Tell us about that.
This is a subtle but very professional feature. Lens breathing is that slight, distracting shift in focus you sometimes see when you zoom in or out on a lens while filming.
It kind of makes the viewer feel a little seasick.
It does. And because the R50 is the newer body, Canon programmed it to digitally correct for this breathing effect with supported lenses.
So you get much cleaner, more professional-looking video transitions.
A feature that is completely absent on the R10.
Interesting. Battery life is another area where the R10 proves its endurance and kind of justifies its price.
It provides significantly better performance in the field. We're talking 450 shots per charge, compared to the R50's 370.
That's an 80-frame advantage.
Which translates to about a 22% improvement in longevity. If you spend extended days shooting landscape or travel, and you hate carrying extra battery packs.
That extra stamina is a huge practical benefit.
A real quality of life win for the R10 user.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk niche modes, because this is where Canon clearly signaled who the R50 is for.
I love this part.
The R50 includes something called product showcase mode.
This is a masterstroke in targeting the modern creator. If you run a small business, or you sell goods on Etsy, or manage e-commerce content,
getting high-quality product shots is a pain.
It's so difficult. Product Showcase Mode automatically adjusts the settings for optimal depth of field and focus tracking on small items.
So you can stop messing with manual settings and just start snapping perfect, professional-looking product images right away.
Immediately.
That suggests Canon is actively pivoting the R50 away from being just a successor to old DSLRs and aiming it squarely at the e-commerce content market.
I agree. That unique feature is completely absent on the R10, which cements the R50 as the superior tool for digital commerce.
It's just smart engineering.
It is.
Yeah.
But regardless of which camera you choose, you have to remember the environmental caveat.
Yes, the shared limitation.
Neither the R50 nor the R10 has any weather sealing. So if you frequently shoot in challenging environments, rain, dust, mist near a waterfall, you will need to invest in some external protection.
Because the bodies themselves offer no inherent defense against the elements.
None whatsoever.
All right, let's talk about the system you are buying into. This is where the playing field is perfectly level, which should give you some peace of mind.
Definitely. Both cameras utilize Canon's modern, future-proof RF lens mount.
So since the mount is identical, neither body has an advantage in lens availability.
Nope. Whether you choose the R50 or the R10, you are investing in Canon's rapidly expanding RF ecosystem.
The last count showed, what, 91 native Canon RF lenses available?
Which is a massive selection.
Yeah.
Your lens choices will be determined by your budget, not by your choice of camera body.
So to summarize the sources and the final analysis, we have two very clear personas emerging here.
We do.
For daily photography, the R50 actually scores slightly higher, mainly because it's lighter weight and smaller size, just make it easier to carry around all day.
But for any kind of action, whether it's sports, wildlife, or even candid street photography, where a moment might just flash by, the R10's faster continuous shooting and that pre-shooting buffer give it the clear functional edge.
And this brings us to the final synthesis. When the dust settled, the source material actually gave the R50 a slightly higher overall score.
It did, a score of 64 compared to the R10's 62.
So the R50 wins the overall comparison, not because it's a technically superior camera across the board, but because of one overwhelming factor.
Value.
Value.
Exactly. The R50 provides, 95% of the imaging quality for 44% less money.
It's hard to argue with that.
It wins the overall score based on its price, its superior portability, that slightly higher resolution LCD screen, and those modern, unique software features like lens breathing correction and product showcase mode.
So for the general enthusiast, the traveler, or the person migrating from a phone?
The R50 is the smarter, more modern choice.
So what does this all mean? The Canon R50 is your ideal choice if you prioritize portability, budget, and those modern video and content features.
It gives you maximum quality without the bulk.
Conversely, the R10 is the better option if you know your photography demands speed and endurance.
Right. If you prioritize continuous shooting, that pre-shooting buffer, and better battery longevity for long days in the field, that $300 premium buys you performance you simply cannot replicate on the R50.
We've laid out the two clear paths forward. You now have the essential knowledge to choose between portability and price versus outright speed and endurance.
The decision based on your style, not just arbitrary spec.
And both are fantastic doors into the mirrorless system.
But here is the final provocative thought we want to leave you with.
Go on.
Given that the R50 is newer, smaller, and already offers unique software advantages like lens breathing correction and the product showcase mode, should a beginner prioritize that modern software and superior portability over the R10's slightly better continuous shooting speed and battery life?
That's a great question.
Think about whether your future creative projects will need raw speed or smarter, more flexible functionality.